Chapter 1. The Magical Lighthouse and its Keeper's Daughter. On the edge of the rocky shore, standing tall and proud, was the Lullaby Lighthouse. Every night its bright light glowed across the sea, helping ships find their way home. But this lighthouse had a special secret. It didn't just shine on its own, it needed Lina. Lina was the lighthouse keeper's daughter. She had the sweetest voice in all the land. Each night, just as the sun disappeared into the waves, she would stand by the big glass lamp and sing, "Ooh, the waves roll high, the waves roll low, find your way where the warm winds blow." And as she sang, the lighthouse light grew brighter. Her father, a kind but very sleepy lighthouse keeper, thought it was just a happy little coincidence. But the seagulls knew the truth. So did the fish, the whales, and even the crabby crabs scuttling along the sand. Lina's songs were magic. During the day, Lina loved to make up silly songs. She sang to the fish while dipping her toes in the water. She sang to the wind while twirling on the lighthouse steps. She even sang to the old seagull who sat on the railing every morning. "Oh, Mr. Seagull, you're feathery and white, but why do you screech at dawn and give me a fright?" "Squawk," answered Mr. Seagull. Lina giggled. Everything was perfect, and every night her songs kept the lighthouse shining bright. But one stormy evening, something very strange was about to happen. Chapter 2. The Night the Light Went Out. That evening, dark clouds rumbled over the sea. The wind whistled through the lighthouse, making the windows rattle. Waves crashed against the rocks, sending white foam high into the air. Lina pulled her blanket tight around her shoulders as she climbed the spiral stairs to the big lantern room at the top of the lighthouse. "Stormy night, extra bright," she whispered to herself. She took a deep breath and opened her mouth to sing, but instead of a sweet, magical melody, "Croak!" Lina clapped a hand over her throat. That wasn't singing. That was a frog sound. She tried again. "Squeak!" "Oh no, my voice," she whispered, because whispering was all she could do. She cleared her throat, she hummed, she even wiggled her ears, just in case that helped. But the lighthouse lamp just flickered weakly, and then poof, it went dark. Lina gasped. No light, no glow, just blackness. Out on the water, she could see tiny specks. The ships. They needed the lighthouse to guide them home, and she couldn't sing. She ran down the spiral stairs, nearly tripping over Mr. Seagull on the way. "Papa, Papa," she whispered loudly, shaking her father awake. Her father blinked sleepy eyes. Time to put the biscuits in the oven." "No, the light went out, my voice is gone, the ships can't see." Her father scratched his head. "That's no good." "Did you try turning it off and on again?" Lina groaned. "That's not how it works." She ran back up to the lantern room. She had to do something. She tapped the glass. She danced. She waved her arms like a giant, wiggly octopus. Nothing. Mr. Seagull waddled in, tilting his head. "Squawk?" "I don't know, Mr. Seagull. How do you make light without singing?" Mr. Seagull thought very hard, which took about 3 seconds. Then he pooped on the floor. "Ugh, not helpful," Lina sighed. She was out of ideas. The ships were still out there. The storm was getting stronger, and Lina had no voice to sing them home. Just when she thought all hope was lost, a soft, mysterious splash echoed from below. Chapter 3. A Mermaid's Clever Idea. Lina rushed to the lighthouse balcony and peered over the edge. Below, the waves shimmered as something glowed beneath the surface. Then, splash! A head popped up. A girl with long, flowing sea-green hair and twinkling eyes waved up at her. "Hello there," the girl called. "You look worried." Lina's eyes widened. A mermaid?" she whispered. "Yep, name's Marina, and you must be Lina, the lighthouse singer." Lina nodded frantically and pointed to her throat. "No voice," she mouthed. Marina gasped. "Oh, barnacles, that's a problem." She flipped her shimmering turquoise tail and thought for a moment. We need to make light another way." Lina nodded again, bouncing on her toes. She pointed to the lantern. Marina tapped her chin. "All right, do you have, a giant glowing squid?" Lina shook her head. "A magical sea lantern?" Lina shook her head faster. "A jellyfish with an on-off switch?" Lina blinked. Marina sighed. "Okay, plan B. We'll make light with music. You don't need to sing, you just need to make a song." Lina tilted her head. "You know," Marina said, grinning, "like a rhythm. Like how the waves crash, boom, and the wind whistles, whoosh!" Lina's eyes lit up. She stomped her foot, thump! She clapped her hands, clap! She knocked on the lighthouse wall, tap, tap, tap! Marina laughed. "That's it. Now let's add some ocean magic." With a flick of her tail, she called over a school of glowing fish. They twirled and swirled, their scales sparkling like tiny stars. Lina grinned. This might actually work. She took a deep breath and began her new song, tapping, clapping, and stomping in time with the waves. The glowing fish danced in the water, swirling in bright, shining patterns. The lighthouse flickered, then glowed. It wasn't as bright as before, but it was working. It's working, Marina cheered. Lina bounced excitedly until suddenly the wind howled louder and the storm clouds thickened. The light faded again. Marina frowned. Looks like we need even more glow, Lina bit her lip. They were so close, but what else could they use? Then she had an idea. A very funny idea. She leaned over the railing and waved her arms wildly. "Mr. Seagull," she whisper-yelled, "I need you to poop in the water." Mr. Seagull blinked. Marina blinked. Then Marina giggled. You know, that might actually work. The seagull flapped his wings, looking very confused. Lina just crossed her fingers and hoped this ridiculous idea would save the day. Chapter 4. Lighting up the night in a new way. Mr. Seagull tilted his head. Then he ruffled his feathers. Then plop! A tiny white splash hit the water. Lina and Marina leaned over the railing, staring. Nothing happened. Marina said, tapping her chin. Not quite magical enough. Mr. Seagull huffed and flew off to find a better perch. Lina sighed. Okay, plan C. She turned back to Marina, who was already gathering bioluminescent jellyfish in her arms like a glowing bouquet. The jellyfish blinked and pulsed, lighting up the water like tiny floating lanterns. Ooh, Lina mouthed, eyes wide. Pretty, right? Marina grinned. But we need something bigger. She whistled. And suddenly, splash! A huge glowing whale surfaced. Lina's jaw dropped. The whale let out a deep humming sound, and its back shimmered like the night sky. Marina patted its side. This is Luma. She sings just like you. Lina bounced on her toes with excitement. She stomped her foot. Thump! She clapped her hands. Clap! She tapped on the lighthouse glass. Tap, tap, tap! Marina and the glowing fish joined in, swirling and flashing in time. And then, whoa! Luma the whale let out a long, deep song so low and powerful it made the water tremble. The lighthouse flickered, then blazed! Golden light burst from the lantern, stretching across the stormy waves. Lina jumped and cheered. The ships saw the light and changed course, sailing safely toward shore. Marina spun in the water. We did it! We made music without singing, Lina giggled. It wasn't how she usually made light, but it was just as magical. The glowing whale let out one last happy hum, then sank back into the deep. The jellyfish bobbed away, and the glowing fish winked their tiny lights before disappearing into the waves. The storm began to calm. The wind softened, the waves settled, and Lina, finally feeling a little less worried, let out a long, sleepy sigh. She leaned against the lighthouse wall and closed her eyes for just a moment. That's when she felt it, a tiny tickle in her throat. Chapter 5, A Song Returns and a Lesson Learned. Lina sat up straight. That tickle in her throat, could it be? She took a deep breath and hummed softly. Her eyes widened. She tried again, a little louder. Marina gasped. Your voice, it's coming back, Lina grinned. She cleared her throat and then, finally, she sang, Ooh, the waves roll high, the waves roll low. Find your way where the warm winds blow. The lighthouse glowed even brighter. The golden light stretched all the way to the horizon, and the last ship safely reached the harbor. Mr. Seagull flapped back down onto the railing, landing with a very proud-looking wiggle. Marina clapped her hands. I knew you'd get it back. You just needed to rest, Lina laughed. And I learned something new. She tapped the lighthouse glass. Music isn't just singing, it's clapping, tapping, splashing, and even glowing fish. Marina nodded. That's right, and if you ever need help again. She did a playful backflip in the water. Just call, and I'll be back. With one last happy wave, Marina dove into the sea, disappearing in a trail of silver bubbles. Lina watched the ocean, feeling warm and happy inside. She climbed back down the lighthouse stairs, curled up in her cozy bed, and pulled her blanket up to her chin. Her father peeked in. You saved the day, my little lighthouse keeper. Lina smiled sleepily. Night, Papa. Then, with the lighthouse shining bright and the waves humming a lullaby of their own, Lina drifted off to sleep, dreaming of glowing fish, friendly mermaids, and songs that could light up the world. The end.